Are you ready to embrace the best years of your life? Well, welcome to Boomers and Beyond, the podcast that celebrates the 55 plus community and everything this exciting chapter has to offer. Everyone, I'm your host, Antionette Blake, better known as the DE Diva, and every week I'll dive into topics that matters to us the most. From health and wellness, travel, family dynamics, finances, family, friends. We're going to explore them all. Going to have some good advice, but I'm going to ask for yours as well, because there'll be lively topics about aging vibrantly, building strong relationships, and guess what? Making the most of retirement. So go grab yourself a cup of coffee or tea, even wine or juice, and settle in with me as we navigate this exciting world of boomers and beyond. And don't forget, subscribe to the show and leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you. And share it with your family, your friends, your bae, and your boo too, because this conversation is all about you and me. So let's get started with Boomers and Beyond. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to a new episode of Boomers and Beyond. I'm your host, Antionette Blake, better known as the DE Diva, aka the Delaware blogger, and I am so glad that you are tuning in today. I don't know where you are, but I hope you are enjoying a wonderful day. I'm here in Smyrna, Delaware. Now, in this episode, we are going to dive into something that may not be as glamorous as travel or retirement planning or even downsizing, but it's absolutely vital for our peace of mind in this digital age. And what it is decluttering our digital lives. That's right, untangling the digital web. Now, as boomers, we remember the time when clutter meant just stacks of newspapers or photo albums. And I actually interviewed a gentleman on my other podcast, Out and About with Antionette, and he was telling me that his grandson asked him, when you were growing up, Pop, did you have the internet? Did you have smartphones? And he was like, no. It was like, well, what did you do? We went outside and we played. Yes, but now, we have more things that are cluttering up our lives, and that is our devices, our computers, our tablets, our smartphones. Yep, endless scrolling of emails, thousands of pictures that we have on our phone, and online accounts that we signed up for and probably forgot about. You know, they said scan the QR code and leave us a message, or scan the QR code and you forget to get rid of all that history. So just like having a cluttered basement or a cluttered attic, it can weigh you down. A cluttered digital life can lead to stress, wasted time, and most importantly, security risks. Yes, phishing scams, those online scams, those digital scams are just getting out of this world. I hate those hackers. Oh my God, I hate the word hate, but I hate hackers. So that's that. So today we're going to talk about how we can bring some order to our digital world. Now, over on Dell Blogger, which is my blog, I had a post and we were talking about steps for organizing your photos, managing your email, and securing your online accounts. And if you missed that, head over to dellblogger.com. And I'm going to leave the link to that in this show notes as well, so that you will not forget to head back over there and also subscribe while you're there so you won't miss out on any of the other blog posts. Now, here on the podcast, I want to talk a little bit deeper as to why the digital decluttering is important. It's not about tidiness. It's about reclaiming your time and energy. Think about how many minutes or even hours that you spend each week searching for a file, a photo, an email, or even trying to figure out what that password was. That's time, precious time that we could be spending on other things like enjoying the outdoors in this beautiful weather, spending time with our families, hobbies, or just relaxing. It's important. Our time is very, very important. So, to be honest, I have been caught up in the digital clutter. As a social media manager, I have so much to remember, not only for myself, but for my clients as well. And to be honest with you, it can be frustrating. I love it, but sometimes it's just frustrating trying to find that right picture. I have the Dropbox and I put all my pictures in there, but I've got to scroll through all those pictures. How about pictures of years gone by, graduations and birthdays, going through that. And somewhere, somehow, it's buried, and I find it thousands and thousands and thousands of other pictures on my phone. So I know I need to take action. And speaking of photos, also have regular photo too. I have photo albums. We have albums that were captured on film. And sometimes I just love sitting down and looking through those old albums and just reminiscing when the boys were young and when my grandma was alive and, other family and friends and even my wedding photos from, 1990. And I've been thinking about, oh my gosh, what's going to happen to all those pictures when I'm gone? I know my sons are not going to keep them all, and I really don't want them to have to decide what to keep and what to get rid of. So just throwing them in the trash can, that breaks my heart. So what I need to do is really think about it. Digital decluttering for our generations, preserving our memories for the future. And while I love, and maybe you love, physical photo albums, digitizing them makes so much more sense. It ensures that these memories are preserved, that they're easily shareable with family, and they won't get lost or damaged over time. And think about how wonderful it's going to be for those future generations to be able to easily access those times. So there are a lot of services out there, or even if you have a scanner, you can convert old photos into digital format. Now, it may seem like a big task, but if you do it bit by bit, piece by piece, it's going to make a huge difference in preserving our legacy. And once they're all digitized, they can be organized, backed up, sent to the cloud, incorporated into a digital photo album, slideshows. It's going to be a way to save our past and ensure that it has a future. So get started. Like, think about those photo albums, and you can literally take pictures of not every picture, but those that are most important. Your wedding, your kid's graduation, those birthday parties, things like that. Think about the ones that you really, 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 really want to keep, and you want to have them in the cloud for when you pass through the cloud. So we know the digital clutter exists and it's impacting our lives, with all those notifications, those dings and those bings, overflowing inboxes, disorganized files. They're just major inconveniences, and they can cause some mental fatigue. So you digitize your photos. Think about your other digital habits. What does your home screen look like? Do you have a whole bunch of icons? If you do you use those icons? If you don't use those icons and those apps, remove them from the front menu of your smartphone. You can do that. And if you're having a problem or you need assistance, go to your carrier, whether it's Verizon, Xfinity, T-Mobile, whatever the case may be, and ask them to help you remove those apps from your phone. Because even looking at and trying to scroll through all those apps while you're just trying to get to your email or just trying to get to your banking information or just trying to get to the camera can be frustrating. So declutter those apps on your smartphone. I know we can't do this all overnight, but I want you to find a balance. What works for you? Whether you're sitting there and you're scrolling at night and shopping, those apps that we're always sofa shopping from. Think about taking that little bit of time to clean up your emails, right? Your emails can be overwhelming. Sometimes it makes sense to really like just devote an hour or two and just go through the emails, see which emails you have in there. I've seen people that have had thousands of unopened emails. That is, to me, that's just frustrating. So get rid of them or create a Dropbox and put them in folders, because we want to make sure that we are decluttering and clearing our mind. Now, going back to the picture, the digital legacy, think about your photos, your documents, and online accounts when you are no longer here to manage them. You have to have somebody who has access to them. You have to organize them. And because if you're going to leave them to your son or your daughter or your grandchild, they have to be able to go through it and get everything done. Consider making a list of all your important online accounts and your passwords. Make sure you secure them, but write them down as well. Because if your phone is locked, they can't get into your phone, and they don't know your password. That's another thing. I actually ordered a password journal, a little journal from Amazon, and I'll leave the link to that. It's an affiliate link, so I'll get a little bit of money if you buy it, but whatever. It's not going to cost you anything extra. But a little book that has all your passwords. And that way, when and if you no longer can handle them, someone will have that information. And think about who you want to have access to your photos and your documents. There's services out there that can help you manage your digital legacy. But for me, it's my son. And I have that built into my Facebook page. If there's no activity on my Facebook, after 3 months, they send me an email. And if there's no answer on that email, they'll send it to his email. So check out ways that you can assign someone. Facebook, as much as I love the people that I have been friends with on Facebook, when they pass on, sometimes their pictures and stuff will pop up, and then I will realize that their account is still active. I'm telling my family, when I'm gone, delete my Facebook account, delete my Instagram account, delete my YouTube channel. I don't want it there. I mean, there'll be things there, but I don't want an active account. So leave that information with someone, or leave it in the book, with the password, so that someone can delete it. Another thing I want to talk about is the emotional connection that we have with our digital content, especially our photos. We've captured so many photos, family vacations, graduation, birth, and they can be scattered across a bunch of different devices, and they'll get lost and unsorted. So take your time. Again, when you are digitizing your photos, put them in, create a digital photo album, by date or by person. And that's great too, because again, in all honesty, with all the pictures I have folders and I have envelopes with, the names of the people who the pictures are. So you want to do that online too. So take time to organize and curate those memories, because it's a great way to, be able to revisit. If you go into the Dropbox and you pull up, the name of the person whose pictures are featured there. And just like, how we used to display pictures all over our house, we have them on our phones, but they're more organized. Last thing I want to talk about is technology use. Digital decluttering is not a one and done. Nope, it's ongoing. Be very conscious of the apps that you download, the newsletters that you subscribe to, and the online accounts that you create. Ask yourself the simple question: is this adding value to my life? If the answer is no, unsubscribe or delete it. Turn off those unnecessary notifications and designate a specific time for checking email and social media. Create digital boundaries to prevent technology from constantly intruding on your time and attention. First thing in the morning, write in your gratitude journal, read your scriptures, listen to your music, whatever the case may be. Don't jump right into social media. Don't let it overtake you. all day, every day. So my friends, decluttering your digital life is an act of self-care and self-love. It's about creating a more peaceful, efficient, and secure online environment. It's also about taking control of our digital spaces so that they support our lives rather than adding to the stress in our lives. So I'm encouraging you to take one step at a time this week, starting this week towards a cleaner digital existence. Maybe start by unsubscribing from all those unwanted emails. Take that time, unsubscribe. And you don't have to give them a reason for unsubscribing. Just unsubscribe. You don't even read it. You probably just delete it. Instead of continually deleting those emails, just unsubscribe. Or if you want them, create a folder. Put them in a folder. You can go back and look at them. Every little bit helps. Trust and believe. And there are, again, books. If you're like me and you like to write, get the book, write down those passwords, keep it secure, right? Because there are always, somebody that is going to be there to help you out. So remember, head over to delblogger.com. I've got some blog posts over there as well. And if you found today's episode or any of these episodes to be helpful, please do me a favor. Subscribe to Boomers and Beyond podcast, because I have so many more insightful discussions planned for you. And you can find this podcast on any of your favorite platforms, right? Or just say Boomers and Beyond, hosted by Antionette Blake, the DE Diva, whatever. Share this episode with your fellow boomers. Let's help each other navigate the digital world with confidence and clarity. And you can share this episode or any episode directly from your podcast app. So thank you all for joining me today on Boomers and Beyond. And until the next time, stay connected, but mindfully. Keep living life to the fullest. This is Antionette Blake, the DE Diva, a.k.a. the Delaware blogger, wishing you and yours a beautifully blessed day. Bye-bye. I want to thank you all for tuning in today's episode of Boomers and Beyond. I hope you enjoyed the show. And don't forget, subscribe and leave a comment and share it with your friends. You can find me on all my social media platforms. And you know what? This podcast is on Apple and Spotify and Google and iHeart. They're all out there. Just ask for Boomers and Beyond. And if you have a question or a topic suggestion, send an email to me at ablake48@gmail.com. And if there's a topic that you want me to explore on this show, make sure you leave that as well. I'm also actively seeking sponsors who cater to the amazing 55 plus community. So if you have a business or a service that aligns with my listeners' interests, I'd love to hear from you. Send me an email. You know how to do that. ablake48@gmail.com. Don't forget, join us next Saturday for another exciting episode packed with information and inspiration for living your best life after 55. Boomers and Beyond is hosted by Buzzsprout, and the music is by Mass O Beats from freetouse.com. See ya, it's the DE Diva.